Hey there, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play I Hate Everything About You by 3 Days Grace, which is an amazing tune. It's so catchy. I'm going to teach you how to play an acoustic version and also an electric version. Those two versions are more or less the same. There's just a few sections of the song where they differ. For most of this lesson, I'll teach it on the acoustic guitar, but I'll also teach you those electric guitar parts that differ in the studio version. For the basics, you will need a guitar in drop D tuning. So that means you'll take your low E string down until the low 6th string is a D note, and then we're good to go. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you're fairly new to guitar and you're looking to build a strong and solid foundation, but you don't know where to start, then be sure to check out the Guitar Zero to Hero Premium membership and course, which gives you all the guidance to play with confidence. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Let's jump into the lesson. All right, so now let's start with the intro, which is the main riff of the song, which is a lot of fun to play and is used in the verses as well. So we're going to start with our index finger barred across the 4th frets of the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings. We'll start by hitting the 6th string by itself, and then we're going to hit the 5th and 4th strings together. And then we're going to take our ring and pinky fingers and put them on the 6th frets of the 4th and 3rd strings. Now the guitarist from 3 Days Grace plays this with an upstroke. You can play it with a downstroke too if you want, but he plays it with an upstroke, and that's what I'm going to do in this lesson. So those first 3 plucks. Those first 3 plucks are at 8th notes, so 1 and 2. To end this first half of the bar, we're going to lift our fingers and quickly hit the open 6th string on an up strum. And this is more or less a ghost note. It doesn't need to be very defined, but it's just going to be a quick upstroke before we repeat this section again, essentially. And it occurs on the up beat after the 2. So in total for the first half of this bar, 1 yenda, 2 yenda. And then we repeat that through again for the second half of the bar. And in total for the first half of the bar, 1 yenda, 2 yenda, 3 yenda, 4 yenda. The second bar is identical to the first bar, so we are just repeating that little chunk another 2 times. And the first 2 bars together. 1 yenda, 2 yenda, 3 yenda, 4 yenda, 2 yenda, 4 yenda. For the third bar, we're going to switch things up, and our little chunk that we repeat again and again is going to be a little bit different. We're going to start off by hitting the open 6th and 5th strings. And then we're going to take our middle and ring finger, or you can use your ring and pinky fingers, completely up to you. I'm going to use my middle and ring, and we're going to place them on the 4th frets of the 4th and 3rd string. And then on the end beat after the 1, the second stroke here, the guitarist actually uses another upstroke. Again, if you feel more comfortable, you can use a downstroke here, but I'm going to play it how the guitarist from 3 Days Grace actually plays it. So an upstroke there, and then we move this up 2 frets, and an upstroke there on the 4th and 3rd strings. And again, on the R beat after the 2, we're going to then quickly hit the open 6th string, which will lead us into the next chunk. So the full chunk in total, 1 yenda, 2 yenda. And we just repeat that again another 3 times. So in total, 4 times for that small chunk, which will sound like this. 1 yenda, 2 yenda, 3 yenda, 4 yenda, 2 yenda, 3 yenda, 4 yenda. And that is it for the intro, which is also the same as the verse. So let me play this line of tab through twice. That's it for the intro and the verse, which is the main riff. And that's the same regardless of whether you're playing the acoustic version or the electric version. Next, let's get to the pre-chorus, and I'll start off by teaching you the acoustic version, and then I'll teach you how it's played in the studio version on the electric guitar. So for the acoustic version, we're going to play this chord shape here. So we're going to bar our index finger across the 2nd frets of the 6th, 5th, and 4th string, and then pinky finger goes on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Awesome sounding chord there. We're just going to strum this with a continuous down, up at 16th notes for the full bar. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, like that. Now what we can do is also accent the 2 and the 4 beat by playing them a little bit harder. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. We're going to play that for another bar as well. So 2 bars in total for this chord shape. And then we're going to go to a D sus2 chord shape like this. So it's a D chord, but we have our middle finger lifted. And we're going to continue again with that same down, up strumming pattern. But on the 4 beat, that's where we're going to focus on the higher 4 strings here. So for the rest of the time, you can just sort of focus on the lower 3 or 4 strings. And on that 4 beat, that's where you're going to strum the higher strings. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. And we hold that out until the chorus. So this is the pre-chorus on the acoustic guitar. Now for the electric version of this pre-chorus, the chords are the same, but we're going to let the effects do a lot of the work here. So for our guitar tone, we just got a somewhat distorted guitar tone by using a high gain amp or using a distortion pedal. And then we're adding a tremolo to it. With the tremolo, we want to set the rate so it matches the tempo of the song at 16th notes. A tremolo effect will basically just increase and decrease the volume of guitar. And as such, it will have like a wah 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 sort of effect. Again, I'll leave a link to my Boss Katana tone patch here, but I've dialed it in so that the tempo of this tremolo is roughly at 16th notes to the song. And it'll sound like this. So we're going to play that same chord shape, the 2nd fret and 4th fret shape, and just hold it out for 2 bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go to our D sus2 chord shape. We're going to strum this, and on the 4 beat, we'll hit the higher string. So that's pretty much all there is to it. The effects are doing all the work. We're just strumming 2 chords effectively. Okay, next we get to the chorus, and whether you're playing the acoustic version or the electric version, it's the same. There's this one line of tab here that we need to learn, and it's repeated through twice for the choruses, except for the outro chorus, where it's repeated through a few more times. So we're going to start with this chord shape here, 4th and 6th frets. So it's the same as this chord shape that we had for the pre-chorus, but up 2 frets. So index finger barring across the 4th frets of the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings, and your pinky finger just going to the 6th fret of the 3rd string. We're going to strum this on the 1 end beat, so 1 end, and then drop your hand onto the strings to mute everything. And you can lift your fretting fingers at that point as well to further mute the strings. So 1 and 2 and. On the 3 end beat, we're going to go to our D sus2 chord shape, and you can just really focus on the top 3 or 4 strings as well if you want. You don't need to hit the higher strings. So 3 and 4 and. So the mutes are going to be on the 2 beat and the 4 beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we go up to this shape here, so it's the same as our first chord shape, but up at 7th and 9th frets. And we're going to strum this with a down, up, down, up, down, up. And at that point, you're going to do a really quick mute. So you can do that by just dropping the side of your hand onto the strings. So down, up, down, up, down, up, mute, and then followed by one more quick up strum. So down, up, down, up, down, up, mute, up. Now, if you can't get that mute correctly, then don't worry, you can just leave it out and play down, up, down, up, down, up, like that, and let that up strum chord ring through. But it does sound better if you can mute it, so listen to the difference. Or, so that's an easier way of doing it, just holding onto the chord. So after that, we're then going to shift down to 2nd and 4th frets, and we're going to strum this with a down, up, down, up, down, up. And on the end beat after 4, drop your hand onto the strings to mute it. So 3 and a 4 and a. And that bar in total. Or if you can't do that mute properly, for For the third bar, we're going to play the exact same strumming patterns, but with different chord shapes now. So we're going to start off with this chord shape and then go to the D. But our strumming pattern will be identical to what we had in the previous bar. So down, up, down, up, down, up, mute, up, like that. Or if you can't do that, mute. And then D. And the bar in total. Then for the fourth bar, we go to this second and fourth fret shape. We're going to strum a down, up, down, up, down, up, mute, up. Or if you can't do that, mute, just play it through. Then we'll slide our index finger up to the 7th fret, hit that on the 3 beat, and on the 4 beat, go down to 6th fret. Or you can hit that 6th fret underneath it on that 5th string as well if you want. But I'm just going to try to focus on the 6th string. So the final bar. Now you can slide up to that 7th fret as well on the 3 beat. So 3 and 4 and one more time. That's all for this line of tab, and I'll play it through twice right now. Next, let's get to the bridge. Now, the acoustic version and the electric version differ a little bit here. For the acoustic version, there are some rhythmic chords being played, and it's really simple. We're just going to start with our D sus2 chord shape, and we're going to strum this continuously with a down-up strumming pattern at 16th notes. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Then we go up to this chord shape at 2nd and 4th frets for a full bar. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. Again, accenting the 2 and the 4 beats is a good idea. It gives that strumming pattern a bit more feel and a bit more rhythm. For the third bar, we go up to the 4th and 6th fret shape. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E. And back to our previous chord shape for one more bar. That's just repeated through twice for the bridge. And it will sound like this. So that's the bridge for the acoustic version. I'll now teach you the bridge for the studio version on the electric guitar. We're going to be playing a whole heap of octave shapes. So we're going to start with this octave at the 11th and 13th fret. So we're going to put our index finger on the 11th fret of the 5th string and pinky finger on the 13th fret of the 3rd string. Now the key to playing clean octaves is that you want to mute all the strings that don't need to ring out. So for instance, our 6th string should be muted, and to do that, I lightly touch it with my index finger as I'm fretting down on that 5th string. So that 6th string will be muted, and with my index finger, as I'm fretting down that 5th string, I also have it lightly resting across all the other strings so that the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings are muted. So don't fret with the tip of your index finger because that will allow the strings below it to ring out. You want to actually have your index finger touching those strings so that they're muted. And then only your 5th string will ring out. And then with your pinky finger, you can then place that on the 3rd string and have that 3rd string note ring out. So that's our octave. We're going to be strumming at 8th notes, and we'll strum this octave shape 3 times. So 1 and 2. On the end beat after 2, we'll then shift up 1 fret and hit this octave shape 3 times. And then we'll shift this up 2 more frets to 14th and 16th for the 4 end beat. And in total for the first bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Really nice and simple. The second bar is identical. The second and third bar are identical, so nothing new to learn there. And for the fourth bar, we're going to hit this 11th and 13th fret octave shape, hold it out for a little bit, and then go up to 12th and 14th, hit it and slide back down to our original position, and then go down to 7th and 9th fret. You'll notice that this octave riff is just sort of mimicking the vocal melody that's being sung. And in total, for this first line of tab, now the second line of tab is basically identical, but we just throw in one more octave shape. So for the fourth bar, we start off with this 11th and 13th, then we go up to 12th and 14th, hit it and slide down, then down to 7th and 9th, and end on 4th and 6th. So the final bar. And that's it for the bridge in the studio version, which will sound like this. After the bridge, there's a small break, which is really simple because it's just basically the main riff. So there's just 2 bars of music, and it's very similar to the first 2 bars of music for the main riff. The final time we play that little chunk that gets repeated again, we're just hitting the first 2 down strums. So the 6th string and the 5th and 4th, and then we're muting on the 4 beat. So 3 and 4. And in total, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 2, and 3, and 4, and So there's the pause, and then we go back into the final chorus. The final chorus is the same as the other choruses, just repeated through more times until the end of the song. And those are all the guitar parts you need to learn for this awesome tune. So now I'll be doing 2 full playthroughs of this song. The first playthrough will be the acoustic version. The second playthrough will be the studio version. They're both more or less the same with minor differences. Feel free to play these back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
Every feeling that I
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here. Or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.